What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and it's the one you've been asking for in the WhatsApps, my emails, Instagram, the YouTube comments. You all want to see the Pixel 9 Pro Fold versus the Honor Magic V3 Global. Well, here it is. However, we're in three parts. Part 1, the one you're about to watch, is all about the hardware, the dimensions, the design, the hinge, the speakers, the displays, all of that hardware gubbins that you want to know about. Part 2 will be a deep dive into the software, the stock Google software, the Honor Magic OS, Gemini on deck on both. I also want to talk about battery life and performance, bearing in mind they're using two different system on a chips. So I'll talk about all of that in part 2 of this mini series. And then the final part, which will release on Monday, is going to be all about the cameras. Both have triple camera setups, but both approach photography and videography in very different ways. One relies more on software, the other one relies on, well, better hardware. So stay tuned for part 2 and part 3. If you haven't already, subscribe if you want to see them. But it's all about the hardware. Let's go. Now, it has to be said, if you are a foldable phone fan in 2024 and you have to have a global ROM inside, you are absolutely spoilt now. This is how it felt for me years ago, and a lot of my viewers years ago that were open to buy a Chinese ROM. We had so many to choose from. Well, globally, you've now got the Pixel, the OnePlus, the Samsung, the Vivo, the Honor. Things are looking bright, folks. If Xiaomi could just release a global version of the Mix Fold 4, I think we'd basically almost crack it. And Huawei, if they were allowed to sell and use Google, that would be handy. But if you are a Chinese ROM fan, you can still get the Huawei and the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4 and the Honor Chinese version and many others on the Average Dad Tech Store. I try to be the cheapest. I try to ship the fastest. Main selling point is so just give me a message. Any questions, I'll respond. If you're interested, visit the Average Dad Tech Store for your next foldable or candy bar device. But let's talk about the hardware. So the first place, and really the only place to start, is just the overall design, the look of these devices. Design, as I say in every single full review or comparison, is subjective. What you like, someone else might not like. So I'm just going to give you my opinion, and then you can decide what your opinion is. The Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold is a vast improvement in design, in my opinion, to the original Pixel Fold. However, you're limited to colours. You can go for a porcelain, like a creamy white, or obsidian, a dark black kind of colour. That's it. You're also limited to materials. There's no vegan leather. It's Gorilla Glass Victus, kind of frosted, kind of matte-ish feeling, slightly grippier than just completely smooth glass, but still glass nonetheless. With the Honor, you've got choices. You can go glass with the green and black variants, or you can go vegan leather with my personal favourite, this rose gold and brownish red colour that you can see here. While both phones look really, really good in my opinion, the Honor is just a step above. Again, in my opinion. The design of this is almost perfect. I like the camera bump. I love the vegan leather feeling. Obviously, to feel in the hand, it feels really good. It's thinner, not always a good thing, and I'll talk about that in a second. But overall, design-wise, I do think I prefer the V3. But please, let me know in the comments which design language you prefer best. And the next thing to discuss when it comes to the overall look and form factor and feeling is the weight and dimensions. It's a foldable phone, so we want it to be as much like a candy bar phone on the outside with that extra appeal of the inner screen when you need it. But we also want it to be light and thin. Well, if you're looking for the thinnest and lightest foldable phone, then look no further than the Honor Magic V3. Yes, coming in at 9.2 millimeters folded. This is just mind-blowing. Unfold it, you're looking at about 4.3 millimeters. Whereas on the Pixel, 10.5 millimeters folded and 5.1 millimeters unfolded. The crazy thing is with the Pixel, it sounds like it's going to be a lot thicker. It's really not. When we think about other global releases, the OnePlus, the Samsung, even the Vivo, they are 0.5 millimeter to 2 millimeters thicker when folded. So Pixel have done amazing things this year, keeping in mind that their original Pixel Fold was 2 millimeters thicker than this. And then there's the weight. While the Honor is obviously lighter, one of the lightest foldable phones out there, it's 236 grams. You've then got the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which is 257 grams. And again, those numbers make it sound like it's super heavy. To get a phone at around 250 grams, keeping in mind that your S24 Ultra or your iPhone 14 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max is lighter because of titanium, but the 14 Pro Max, that was sitting around 240 grams. So the fact that you get two screens and all this hardware extras, 257 grams isn't the worst. And then I want to talk about the benefits of the slightly heavier and more premium feeling design, in my opinion. It's the hinge. Arguably, the hinge is the most important part of any foldable device. It's what makes it fold. So you want to be reassured that that hinge is going to be sturdy, durable, and last a long time. Now, only going on impressions and feel, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold smashes the Honor Magic V3. As you can see here, both sit fine at 90 degrees angles. But as soon as you try to close the Honor Magic V3 and keep it anything more than 45 degrees, it doesn't want to. It's desperate to slam shut. Whereas that Pixel, as you can see here, I could go and go and go until about, 5 degrees, and then I just eventually shut it. Absolutely insane capabilities from the hinge. And folks, you have to feel it for yourself, but it matters. It just feels sturdier and more premium. And because of that extra weight and more balanced weight, the Honor, when in tripod mode, is really top heavy because of the camera bump, and any gust of wind, it just tips over. It's desperate to fall over because it is so thin, lighter, and top heavy. Whereas the weight of the Pixel, when you've got it in tripod mode, it doesn't budge, even with a strong gust of wind. And that's important. A lot of people use their foldable phones for this reason. It's part of the marketing campaigns. Look at Samsung's adverts, particularly with their flip phones. Tripod mode and selfie mode, stick your hand up, brings up a timer and it will take photos. Really, really handy to have that extra hinge support. And for me, I know they've both been tested to the nth degree, but just a reassurance wise, when you're spending this much money on a foldable phone, the Pixel's hinge gives me a bit more peace of mind. And of course, it's hardware, so we have to talk about the displays here. Now, overall, form factor wise, these are two of the best, with the Honor coming in at 6.4 inch on the front screen diagonal, and the Pixel 6.3 inch. Yes, I've spoke about this on my previous good and bad points of the Pixel. The bezels are there, that's for sure. But folks, realistically, this is still a stunning 120Hz display. The one thing I would shout out to Honor though is their front screen is brighter at 3000 nits compared to the super bright 2700 nits of the Pixel, but it's also LTPO technology. Just because a screen is 120 Hz, it doesn't mean it's LTPO. The Honor will actually do 1 Hz all the way up to 120. With the outer screen in the Pixel, you are locked at 60 or 90 Hz. But then we talk about the inner screens, and for me, it kind of shifts because that 2700 nits is carried over to the internal screen of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Absolutely legible and direct sunlight outside, whereas the Honor at 1800 nits, while still bright-ish, direct sunlight can cause a bit of a problem. But both are large, near 8-inch displays and are great. Both 120Hz, both LTPO technology in both of these this time. So if you're consuming content on your foldable device, both of these devices are going to give you a fantastic viewing experience. And if you find yourself in a pinch, here's how the speakers sound on both. for those that didn't own the original Pixel Fold, let me reassure you, the new Pixel 9 Pro Fold with its new speaker setup sounds 3 times better. And in my opinion, better than the Honor Magic V3. So speakers, which is still hardware, I have to give that to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold in my real life experience and opinion. Another thing I just want to talk about here is to continue on the vein of the form factors. The main reason to buy a foldable phone is so that you have what is essentially a standard candy bar phone on the outside, but when you need to multitask or do some productivity or whatever it is you do, you can unfold the device for a larger canvas. That's why I much prefer a foldable phone to a flip phone. A flip phone to me is, well, it's 10% of the time flipped when using and 90% of the time unflipped, which to me just means why wouldn't you buy a candy bar phone? Whereas the foldable, for me, I've probably got folded 70% of the day and unfolded 30%, maybe even 75-25. And both of these devices in their folded or unfolded positions give you fantastic productivity. But I will not go into the multitasking just now because that's going to be saved for tomorrow's software video. There is a winner in my opinion though. So that's the designs, the different colours you can get, the materials, the hinge, the overall form factor, the dimensions, the weight, the displays, speakers, all the kind of hardware elements. I've let you see them all in all their glory, so you can make your own mind up. But please, let me know in the comments, which one do you think wins the hardware? It's really tough. We seem to be going down a road of wanting the thinnest and lightest foldable phone. But that comes at a sacrifice. For me, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is just more reassuringly sturdy. And as demonstrated with that hinge, it practically means it's better in certain scenarios. Now, from a pure aesthetic point of view and like jaw-dropping honest, of course, you hand the Honor Magic V3 to somebody, they think, oh, this is a nice phone, and then you tell them, unfold it. So many people have held this phone that I know, not realising this actually unfolds because it is so thin. So yeah, so for sheer, as I say, gobsmackery, the Honor V3 wins. But practically, in day-to-day use, from a form factor, weight, sturdiness point of view, I have to give it to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, especially considering that both, from a durability standpoint, are almost exact same. There's IPX8. Now, while the Honor doesn't have Gorilla Glass, it has some magic tomfoolery going on with their own Honor Shield. GSM Arena done a really, really good video putting it in a washing machine, throwing it on the ground, using it as a hammer. I'll link that video actually if I remember, because it really was fantastic. And kind of, as a foldable fan, made me kind of wince at some points. But the Pixel's the same as well. That video doesn't exist. And no, I won't be doing that same thing with the Pixel. But yes, you could put it in a washing machine, you could throw it on the ground, and it's going to hold up just like the Honor. So while durability-wise, they do actually compare very much, it's just for me that reassuring feeling in the hand and the hinge. So that's the hardware. That's some of my opinions. I want to hear yours. And as I mentioned, if you haven't already smashed sub and you want to see more content like this, then you better do it quick. Turn on the notification bell, because at this time tomorrow, I will be posting my software review. Yes, a deep dive into the Magic OS and stock Android Google software with Google Gemini, other camera magic. I'll talk about it all. And then ultimately, on day 3 of this mini-series, Monday night at 8 PM British Standard Time, I am going to give you a deep dive into both camera setups, where one certainly relies more on software than the other. The other has all the hardware to back it up. Until next time.